Today's video is going to be around creating jobs for customers. This is not to be confused with creating jobs in the manufacturing department, but this will be related around sales and customers. So creating jobs for customers. So what we're going to do is we're just going to jump into our sales module or tab here and go ahead and look in our customer express list. This is going to open up all the available customers you have within your express list. You can look at this in detail. You can look at the related customers, and you can just go back to your regular customers. The two things that we're going to add within the customer express list that we can see is the job name and the job number. Again, this is completely customizable. You can just move those around, and we're going to want to see these two fields, job name and job number. These are going to be vital for seeing what job is on for what company and what job number is attached to that job. So what you can do is just go ahead and hit customize within the customer express list and go ahead and activate these two functions here, job name and job number. Make sure those are ticked, and these fields will then be visible for you. Now, within the customer express list, you can look at two variations or two types of customers. You're going to have your regular customers as well as your related customers. Now, the difference between those two, if looking at it from job purposes, a regular customer is going to differentiate due to the jobs that it has. So you can have two different jobs for the same customer. So say this customer wanted the job name being a warehouse repair, and for the same customer he wants an office repair. So this is going to be at the same locations, but you're going to flag them as two different job repairs, job names and job numbers for the same customer. Within related customers, this is going to be like your franchises, like your KFC or so on, where each company, whether it's a KFC in different locations, each franchise is going to be looked at individual businesses. So don't confuse the related customers with the normal regular customers. So what we're going to go ahead and do now is we are going to go create a job for one of these customers. So I'm just going to go hit on the customer express list. I'm just going to go ahead and click details, and I'm going to select the customer I would like to do a job for. So I'm going to select Bertha, and we're going to create a new job for this customer. Just click on new job, and this will open up the job card for this customer. The job name will load by default, so this is going to be job name and number 6, but you can rename this to anything you want. We'll say that, and the job number. There can be a customer job number, and again you can add manufacturing make or part or model number to this. This is if you were going to do a repair work for a piece of equipment, or a job, sorry, for a piece of equipment. You can attach that piece of equipment and you can do the job around that. So if it was a truck or a forklift or something, you could add in all that details there and do a job around that piece of equipment. But for purposes now, we're just going to leave it as is. We're going to go into our address information here. We're going to save that, and this is going to automatically load the address information from the customer card. We can go ahead and hit original in case there was any other changes made, but this is by default going to load that information. You can go ahead and alter this information if it has changed, but otherwise go ahead and click original, and this will populate that information as shown. What we're going to do now is we can let's go ahead and create a sales order for this job. We can either save this and go into sales orders within the sales module, or we can just go ahead and click sales order straight away from here. I'm just going to go ahead and save this, and we'll go into the sales module and do a sales order from here. So we're going to add Big Bertha, and here's that job here. So the same company, but a different job, or a job now is looked upon underneath that company. So here's the company, here's that new job, Big Bertha new job, and that job number. So go ahead and we're going to add that. And we're going to add some product. He wants some beer for this job. So 5 of those. And we're going to go ahead. Let's make it a bit more. Let's say 55. And we're going to go ahead and save this sales order. So there, our sales order done. Now we can move on. And what we're going to do then is create a smart order directly from that sales order. So we can go back into the sales order express list. There's that job for that customer. And double click, go into it. And we can create a smart order from the sales order. So all we're going to do is copy the smart order. Just click there. Are you sure you want to convert this? Yes. And the smart order will be created. So there's the product, the quantities, all your information, supplier codes. Make sure there is a supplier in here, and the job name. So this is going to auto-populate that customer job's name. So what we're going to do from here is we're going to create that purchase order, and we want to see that purchase order. So if we want to see that from the smart order screen, all we do is just click on show, and we're going to create that purchase order. So there we go, purchase order created. So within the purchase order, we're going to receive these goods straight away. And by default, this is going to load the product name, product description, as well as that job name for that customer. So that'll be loaded in there as well. If there are other jobs, you can select them, but we're going to leave these as it has populated that purchase order and that job by default. We're going to give this a supply invoice number, and we'll give it today's date. So that's it. Let's go ahead and save this purchase order. So now our purchase order has been created in the sales order express list. We'll just refresh that. So our purchase order created, our sales order was created, and what we can do now is that'll help us within our reports, and we can see under our job profitability what our next step is, or where this job is at. And how we get there, let me just take a step back. You can go into and select your reports from here. You can select reports from this tab at the bottom here. As well as that, you can select your reports from the top here as well. But we're going to go ahead and click on our sales reports and go to jobs, and then from there, job profitability. Double click on that, and that's going to open up all the different jobs and job profitabilities available. So all the different types of companies with different jobs attached to them, you will be able to see that from here. So we're going to go ahead and look for the job that we just created and see what that job profitability looks like. You can also search from the company from the top bar here. So type in the search, what is the name of the company, and it can filter on that, or simply go ahead and you can scroll if you choose. But here's that job that we created. There's the job name, the job number, purchase order type, transaction number, the product, its costs, and so on. You can also filter on different jobs. So if we want to add a filter and see what jobs are with Big Bertha, we can filter on that. We can also filter on just the company name to see if there are any jobs going on with that company. So here's all the stuff we have for Big Bertha and the jobs that we have here for that. We can see we did some work with an invoice, the product was serial numbers, and a quote for blue pens. But this is the one we're looking at now, the specific job for that company. So at the moment you can see we're still at the sales order, purchase order stage. There is no invoice for this job. So let's go ahead and create that invoice. Let's go ahead and pop out of there. We can go into the sales order and say convert or copy to invoice. So just jump back into that sales order that was created and copy that to invoice. Yes, I'm sure. And there we go. Our invoice created. As simple as that. Go ahead and save that. We're going to now pop back into the reports selector, job profitability. Go to our company, and there's the two jobs under the same job, but the purchase order and the invoice. You can now see that these are looked at as separates. The purchase order is separate from the invoice, and now we wish to create that as one. So how are we going to create this as one and bring these two together as one individual? Is we're going to pop back out of here, and we're going to go into that invoice. So here's that invoice we created for that job. And the reason why they haven't been collectively combined is we need to apply the costs. So go ahead and apply these costs. This will bring up the customer costs for this job. So we can look at the products, expenses, timesheet if there's any attached. But we're going to go ahead and apply this now. So go ahead and tick use, and we're going to save that. Now, this is now going to populate with or combined the purchase order, sales order with the invoice. We're going to go ahead and delete this duplicate line and go ahead and save this. Jump back into our jobs reports, job profitability, filter on that company, and there we have it. There's that single invoice, there's that job. Let's go ahead and filter on that. There we go. And there's the costs associated with this. So costs excluding landed costs, or what sort of figures are attached to this job and this company. So different percentages, income percentages, all sorts of information here. You can also look at it upon a summary point of view as well as details. So that's up to you on how you look at that, but there's that one job, and now that purchase order, sales order has been combined with that invoice. So I can look at the company on its own, or I can look at the different jobs attached within that company. Again, it's up to you, but a huge wealth of information within the job profitability report. We can now look at producing some statements for these jobs, or grouping different jobs together. So if you jump into payments, print statements, you can now look at the different jobs that are available, and if you'd like to group them. So what we can do is we can either simply, here's Big Bertha. If you want to, you can look at the different options you have available. Transactions include sales orders. You have a wealth of different options you can choose from, and regards to the grouping options, you can group the jobs with customers, you can group them with related customers, or group by customer type. That is up to you. Let's pop back in there. So here, if you want to produce statements, just select the one that you want to produce a statement for, preview it. You can select which statement, preview or report you would like to view this in. We'll go and view it in that one, and this will produce that statement for that job. We can look at it, what was the sales ID, the date, the status, the due date, outstanding, all sorts of information there. You can group together, you can select all, you can deselect, huge amount of options there. Go ahead and preview that. There we go, there's the invoice, there's the sales order, and what makes that up. So real simple in producing statements for these different types of jobs, as well as the options you get with grouping them. Again, you can print statements based on the sale or based on the due date, the sale number, or the sale date. So again, many options there. So there you are. That's a demonstration on how to create a job. Thanks for watching.